that's what first got me into war. We used to play Age of Empires, and then this would be a cool game to play. Disappointed at first because people weren't refighting ancient battles on the TV show. It still is a good game. But one thing that always bothered me was that for the factions, pretty much people would spam 3 or 4, maybe 5 units from each faction. And the rest of the units would not get used. They really could use them if you were playing on violence. You would have to play the game and kill it. But I would, for the fun of it, I would take and remarry and try to beat people with that. Pretty much get slaughtered. So I wanted to make my more of the units worth taking. Some of the factions are really good competition, and there's others that are useless. People only take them for play. So I want to fix that. Make the strong factions a little more diverse. And make the mediocre factions better. And then the weakest factions probably get rid of them, or maybe take some of their units and put them in other factions. But I want all of the factions to be more historically accurate. Not totally, but because we still want to keep the same game. It's still being played online because it's a good game. So just want to spice it up a little bit. It's fucking really So this is the Julia actually, which is now going to be based on Julia season. So it's kind of like that TV show kind of has a specific history and events and action. Units that would not have been conceived. Gladiators and pre-American troops. And we're just sticking to more historically accurate. This unit in front is Archer Auxilia, which is reskinned, but has the same stats. It's still the same Archer Auxilia. And this is the main infantry for Caesar's army. They look kind of like Caesar's soldiers. Their armor and helmets are similar. But they are urban cohorts, really, just reskinned. So it's still the same Roman faction. Urbans, Praetorians, Archer Auxilia, all of the units that people use in plays are still here. Same with this. This is the Legionary First Cohort, exactly the same stats. This is a new unit I added. They are Slinger Auxilia, because Julius Caesar had Balearic slingers in the army. And also because people like to play Rome versus Rome, the purple Romans are now modeled or named Pompey Magnus. So when you play as the purple Romans, you're playing as Pompey. When you play as the red, you're playing as Caesar. And the armies will be identical, so that you can have an equal Rome v. Rome battles, because everyone likes playing as Rome. I imagine that Pompey also, I don't know anything about Pompey's armies, but I would imagine that he would have had Balearic slingers in his army too, because he was the governor of Spain. This is the armored general's bodyguard, and this is Caesar on the horse here. Trying to make custom generals also. Now this is Caesar's standard legionary cavalry, but they have the same stats as the Praetorian. So it's still, you're playing as the Julii. You've got Urbans, Praetorians, they just look more like Caesar's army. This is a modded unit, it's the Cavalry Auxilia. So it's a Jav Cav, Skirmisher Cav, but they have, aside from the javelins and the skirmish ability, they have the same stats as the Legionary Cavalry in Manila. So they're still a strong tier secondary cavalry, and really a unit worth taking now that they have a better charge and attack and defense units or numbers. This I think better represents the Cav Auxilia, which would have been Germans and dogs in Caesar's army. All the artillery is still part of the faction. And the war dogs, because some people like to take war dogs, even though it's not historically accurate to have a bunch of dogs like that. You want to keep the faction mostly the same. That's all I've got for Caesar's army right now. I add a couple of units more, but right now it's all of the units that people already take when they play as Julii, with just a couple of modded units added in, because I want to keep the factions unique, or at least what everyone's used to. We don't want major changes. This is a new faction. It's also Roman, but it's a faction from Rome Total War, Barbarian Invasion, the Western Roman Empire. So this is the Western Roman Empire, but all of the units are reskinned to look like a Primarian Roman army that Scipio Africanus would have commanded. So the Scipio Africanus faction as its main infantry. These Hastati have the same stats as the Comitatenses do for the Western Roman Empire and beyond. The Principes have the same stats as the Comitarii in beyond. So in real life, the Principes and Hastati were armed in the same way, the same weapons, and used the same type of fighting style. But the Principes were a little better because they were better armored and had more experience. So I thought by making them Comitatenses and Comitarii, that would be similar, because in BI and the Comitarii have, they don't throw peeling, they throw a dart, and it's got really long range and they have more ammo. So the animation is still going to be the vanilla peeling that the Principes are throwing when they throw their missiles, but it's going to have the same range and same damage that the darts have for the Comitarii in Barbarian Invasion. And the Triarii will have the stats of the Auxilia Palatina, which is a heavy spear unit that's in the Western Roman Empire and Barbarian Invasion. So we'll be able to see what happens when faction from one of the expansions gets into vanilla. The Velites, they have the same stats as the Limitani in Rome Total War VI, except they also have skirmish ability. But otherwise, their stats are the same as the Limitani, so they're going to be a lot stronger and will be able to defend themselves better against cav attacks. This is the General's Bodyguard. There's a Scipio on a horse, and they will have the same stats as the General's Bodyguard in Rome Total War VI, which I think they're called Imperial German Bodyguard. This is the Equites, and they will have the same stats as, I think they're called Auxilia Equites or Equites Auxilia, something like that. But they're a lot stronger than the vanilla Equites that the Scipii faction would have had. And this unit, I made them look like Numidians, but they're I think they're called Sarmatian mercenaries in Barbarian Invasion. It's a heavy sword cavalry unit. So Scipio had Numidians in his army, and I would guess that they weren't all just light jav-cav throwing, because I know in Zama, the Numidian king, was commanding the one side of the cavalry. So I imagine if there's a king in your army, as a cavalry commander, would have had more heavy cavalry surrounding him. So that's why I made them look like Numidians. Oh, let's get this. These are Roman archers, and the Roman archers in Western Rome in VI have better stats than the regular Roman archers do. They're a little tougher. These are elephants. They have Numidians riding on them. Technically, Scipio didn't have elephants in any of his armies. His brother, Scipio Asiaticus, when he fought against the Seleucids at Magnesia, he had war elephants that were given to the Romans by the Numidians. The king of Numidia gave them war elephants and Numidian cavalry as a gift after they put him back onto the throne in Numidia after they defeated Hannibal. But Scipio Africanus was at Magnesia as an observer, or as a I don't know what he did there. He was there with his brother. So I gave elephants to Scipio's army. I think they didn't use them though at Magnesia, even though they were there. And then this is the Numidian cavalry, which in real life these guys were badass, but in vanilla Rome they sucked. So I tried to make them a little better by giving them the same charge bonus that the light lancers have, which is a Macedonian unit. So the jav-cav, and also I'm going to make all of the javelins, they're going to have a longer range and do a little bit more damage than what they do, so that it will be hopefully a unit worth taking. But yeah, we're going to make the Numidian cavalry tougher. A longer range on the jabs, more damage, and then a better charge bonus, because these guys really terrorized the Romans for when they served in Hannibal's army, and they deserve better treatment by the game. Now, speaking of Hannibal, here's Hannibal's army. The It's basically the same Carthage with some of the Spanish units, some of the units from Spain added, because Spain is one of the factions that I've removed to make room for new factions. So you can still play as Spain if you take Carthage and only take the units that would have been available to Spain. So these are Hannibal's best infantry. They're the Libyan spearmen, but they have the same stats as the Sacred Band spearmen in vanilla. So it's basically Sacred Bands reskinned to look like Libyan spearmen. And that's the officer there. This is the Poeni infantry. They're the same stats, just reskinned. Look a little better. This unit is the Spanish mercenaries. However, since no one takes Spanish mercenaries in the vanilla game because they suck, I gave the Spanish mercenaries the same stats as the bull warriors from Spain. So you can still play as Spain if you take these guys. They're bull warriors. They have identical stats. They just look different. They've got shields that are decorated like Carthaginians would have had symbols, Carthage symbols on them. And this is a unit I added, naked fanatics. Hannibal might have had naked guys in his army that he picked up in Gaul on his way to Rome. Or maybe he didn't have them in his army, maybe they just attacked him, but he encountered but yeah, these guys are new. Dicks out. Their shields, they changed the shields to have match the colors of Carthage. I want to stick with vanilla style colors and vanilla style units because I don't want to add lag to the game. There's already people whose games are laggy as it is, so if I were to use those much heavier models, much more detailed models that I was making for a mod previously, it would lag the hell out of the game for a lot of people. So we're going to have a vanilla style models. This is Balearic Slingers. Same stats as in the vanilla game. And these are the other slingers for Carthage, the lesser slingers. I made them look like Numidians. You can tell the difference from the Balearic slingers and Numidians by their hair and skin color, but they have the same uniforms. All slingers in this mod are going to have greater range. I'm not going to increase their damage or ammo, just longer range, because in real life and also in Rome 2, slingers have longer range than archers. So it's going to make slingers better just by increasing their range. They don't have to get so close. This is Hannibal Barca right there on horseback. He's black. I don't know if he was black in real life or not, but I made him black. And he's got his eye patch because Hannibal lost an eye at some point in his campaign against the Romans. And these are Sacred Band cavalry. Exactly the same stats. They just look different. Okay, this unit is from Numidia. They are Libyan swordsmen, but they have the exact same stats as the Numidian legionaries do. Hannibal armed some of his troops with captured Roman weapons and armor. I think they picked them up at the River Trebia. After they beat the Romans, they captured all their equipment. And so they have gladiuses, Roman shields, repainted with Carthage symbols on them. And these are the long shields. Exactly the same stats. They just look like Numidians. Just because I was trying to make them look different. And on this side is round shield cavalry. So they're Spanish cavalry with the swords that have the same stats as before. So that's all I've got for Carthage right now. Now this is Alexander. This is the new Macedon. This is a Macedon from Rome Total War Alexander, which is more diverse than the vanilla Rome Total War. The big thing about this faction is the General's Bodyguard is huge. They're called the Royal Squadron, and there's Alexander. And these are companion cavalry, but they have double, on huge scale it's 240 horses, and on large it's 120 horses. So this is, they have double hit points. A General's Bodyguard that is just gonna give devastating charges when you use them in multiplayer. And there's a little bit more diverse cavalry. These are the regular companions. Regular size, regular stats. And these are Thessalian cavalry. Then on the other side there is what's called Hadramoi, which is the light horses. So the light lancers, pretty much. And then next to them are Thracian, auxiliary Thracian cavalry. In vanilla Rome, there's no Jav Cav for Macedon, but now there's a Jav Cav unit for them. And it's more historically accurate because I've read that the Thessalians and the Thracians would have been on the left side of Alexander's battle line, and on the right would have been the Hadramoi and the companions. So now you can have a much more diverse Cav force. These are the Royal Pikemen. In the movie Alexander's elite pikemen were old guys. They called them Silver Shields. They had gray beards. So these Royal Pikemen have the same stats, but they look like the Silver Shields of Alexander. They got gray beards. And these are the Phalanx Pikemen. Same stats, just because I know people who, when they play as Macedon, like to use these as meat shields sometimes. So I left them there. The officer is wearing Seleucid colors, so I need to fix that. The mod's not completed yet. Probably take another month for me to finish it. These are the Cretan archers, same stats, just reskinned. And these are, what are they called? Agriani and Axum from Rome Total War Alexander. So they're javelin throwers that fight with an axe as a secondary weapon. But they will be more effective than they are in Rome Total War Alexander, because the javelins will do more damage and range. And this is another new unit that if you only play vanilla Rome, that you don't get to take. They're only in Rome Total War Alexander. It's the shield bearers, or what do they call it? Hypaspis. Or maybe Hypaspis means shield bearers, but they used to guard the flank of Alexander's pikemen. They're spearmen that throw javelins, and they have big shields. So One thing I added to them, besides that their javelins are going to do more damage and have a greater range, is that I gave them the fast moving trait, because in real life in Alexander's army, the Hypaspis were made up of the best athletes available. So I gave them the fast moving trait. They'll be able to run the same speed as Peltis and Slingers and Archers, but they're going to be a lot tougher in combat. So I think that's it for Alexander's faction right now. And Alexander's rival was Darius. And so this is the Darius faction from Rome Total War Alexander. I still need to make sprites for them. You see, from far away they look green, but up close they are black. I've chosen black and silver for the Persians instead of pink, because who wants their soldiers to be all decked out in pink? That's Darius there on a horse, and that's a general's bodyguard, which is a javelin throwing eastern bodyguard. These are the scythe chariots, which are the same as the scythe chariots in vanilla Rome that are available to the Seleucids and Pontus, except these ones do not run amok. The scythe chariots in Rome Total War Alexander for Persia cannot be run amok, which is going to make them much more difficult to deal with. And these are the Darius horse archers, same as in vanilla. And on the other side here, these are Bactrian cavalry, which is a heavy cavalry with a strong charge bonus. And these are Barcanian cavalry. They're jab throwing and fight with an axe as a secondary weapon. And these are Arab camel riders. I think they have the same stats as the Numidian camel riders in the vanilla game. But Darius had guys on camels fighting in his army. And for infantry, there's the light infantry. These are archers, the Mardian archers, or Eastern archers. And then slingers. They look the same, except for the slings and the pouches, and the bows and the quivers. They're same model. And these are the best infantry available to Darius. They're the Immortals. So they are archers that fight with the spear as a secondary weapon. And they're going to be tough to deal with in a CWB game. You might have a better luck with them in 31K, but in CWB, these guys are going to be deadly, having archers that you can't really take out with cavalry because they can defend themselves. This is a new unit that I created. Very few of the units in my mod are going to be different from what they were in vanilla, but this is one of them. These are hillmen. I made them look more accurate to what they were in real life, which is javelin throwing axemen. At least that's the way they're portrayed in every other mod. But they have Cilician pirate stats. So this is the Cilician pirates, and they have a line formation rather than the horde formation. And there's more men in each unit. There's 20 more. So in a 31K game, you would have 80 men in an infantry unit. They will have 100 in the hillman unit. And this unit is also very tough for Darius. they're Fijian axemen. They have war cry and a strong charge, and they fight with axes. They're available to Darius, but I also made a version of them for Pontus, because Pontus needs more infantry than just the pikemen. So, and also Pontus would have, or Mithridates, I guess is the name of the faction, would have had some of these guys in his army too, because they were right next door as mercenaries. And this is a hybrid unit. They are shield bearers. They have the same stats as the Kardakas do in Rome Total War Alexander, except they also have the javelins that the Eastern Peltists have in Rome Total War Alexander. So it's a Kardaka with a javelin. I think I'm missing a unit here. There's also Syrian cavalry from Rome Total War Alexander's Persian faction that I haven't added yet. So originally I got rid of Parthia. I replaced it with Darius's faction. But then I read a little bit more about the Parthians, and I decided to put Parthia back in, though they are, oh, I'm missing sprites. Look at that, unit is disappearing far away. Not finished with this faction yet, but I chose green to represent Parthia, and the army is based on the army of King Herodes, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. That's him on the horse there with the cataphracts. He was the Parthian king at the time that the Parthians wiped out Crassus's army at Carrhae. He sided with the Senate in the civil war between Caesar and Pompey. They perhaps even gave some cavalry to Pompey's army that fought against Caesar. But after the Battle of Pharsalus, a Roman commander named Quintus Labienus ended up joining the Parthian army, and he brought Roman legionaries with him. And so you had, for a time, the Parthians gave a command of an army to Quintus Labienus, who was the son of Titus Labienus, had been Caesar's right-hand man. For a time, the Parthians had an army under the command of a Roman that was made up of Roman infantry with Parthian cataphracts and horse archers. So these are Roman legions that are Senate loyalists. They were fighting, they were against Caesar, and then later against Mark Antony. They invaded Syria and Anatolia, and they were defeated there by a Roman commander who was a loyalist of Caesar. But yeah, so Parthia now will have a heavy infantry unit, so you can use them in 31K, and it is historically accurate because there were Roman legionaries fighting in the Parthian army for a while at the time of the Romans' first and second triumvirate. These Roman legions, though, because they were defeated by legions that were loyal to Caesar in Turkey, they don't have as good of stats as the legions that Caesar and Pompey has. Caesar's legions have urban cohort stats, and these Parthian legions will have Praetorian cohort stats, so they're really good. Praetorian infantry are good, they're just not as good as the urbans. So I think that's fair by making them lesser. I think it's both historically accurate and fair, because you don't want the Roman legions fighting for Parthia to be as strong as those fighting for Caesar, because then with the cataphracts and the horse archers, they will be a much tougher faction than Rome, and they might be anyways. These are hillmen, Cilician pirates fighting in line formation, just reskinned as hillmen. And these are Marian archers, or Eastern archers, Marian archers. They're a little bit tougher than the Eastern archers in the vanilla game. And this is the Slinger version of them, so they have an archer unit and a Slinger unit. And these are the cataphract camels. And these are horse archers. So it's the same Parthia, just with Roman, or I should say Praetorian cohorts added. But Parthia will be usable in 31K. And this is Ptolemaic Egypt. So the old Egypt is done with the ancient look. This is Ptolemy, and this army is based on the army that Ptolemy IV, I believe it was the fourth, commanded at the Battle of Raphia. They didn't have chariots, but I don't want to make a major change to Egypt. We're all used to having the chariots with Egypt, so I left the chariots in. They all will have the same stats as they do in vanilla, but otherwise the army is going to be based on the army that Ptolemy had at Raphia. They look like companions, but I think they're called Nile cavalry. Nile cavalry. They don't have companion stats. They have the same stats that the Nile cavalry had for Egypt in vanilla. These are Pharaoh's bowmen. They're reskinned to look like Cretan archers, but they have the same stats as the Pharaoh's bowmen, because we want to keep Egypt unique the way it is in the game, in the vanilla game. But Ptolemy had a lot of Cretans at Raphia, so they're making the Pharaoh's bowmen look like Cretan archers. And these are the Pharaoh's guards. I thought I was finished with this unit, but I still need to make changes. The Pharaoh's guards are going to be pikemen. They're going to be 120-man units when played on large scale, and they will have the long pikes. I didn't give them the long pikes, I forgot. You can see that their pikes are shorter here, but they will have the long pikes when the game is finished. I have to make that adjustment. So that will make the Pharaoh's guards a lot tougher, just that they're going to have more men in each unit, the same as all the other pike units do, and they will have the long pikes. Otherwise their stats are staying the same. And these are the Nile spearmen, which I did finish. You see they have the long pikes. The Ptolemies had trained native Egyptians to fight in the pike phalanx for this battle. I think there were like 20,000 or 30,000 of them at Raphia. So these Nile spearmen have the same stats, they just have more men and longer pikes to better represent the Ptolemaic army. These are Bastarnae, the same Bastarnae that are available to Thrace. It's a heavy sword unit with 2 hit points and war cry. The Ptolemies had lots of Thracians in this battle. I don't know in what capacity they served, but I decided to make the Bastarnae available to to Egypt to represent the Thracians. And also they had Galatians that fought for them. These are Galatian swordsmen. They are in Egyptian colors. They have the same stats as the chosen swordsmen in vanilla Rome. Spartan commander thinks that chosen swordsmen are good infantry. I never really thought of them as good infantry, but you'll be able to take some of them if you play as Egypt in this mod. They have war cry, everything, all the stats are the same. And these are war elephants now available to Egypt. The Ptolemies had the smaller North African forest elephants in their armies. So I put towers on them and gave them Egyptian colors, but they have archers. But this is the type of elephants that they would have had in Egypt, not giant Indian elephants, but the smaller North African forest elephant. These I reskinned them and named them Aspis Companions, like in Rome 2, but they have the same stats as the Desert Infantry has in vanilla Rome, which is the Axe Cavalry. Stats are exactly the same, it's just a different look for them. They look like they would be in Greek army. And I need sprites. You can see that they're not completely done yet. These are the regular Egyptian archers. And this is a new unit, Carian Axemen. They served also in this battle. It is a combination of Desert Axemen and Egyptian Peltists. So that Desert Axe unit with skirmish ability and javelins that is cheaper than the Desert Axemen. I can't remember what their cost is, but this might be a unit worth taking because they're going to have longer range on their javelins, they'll do more damage, and their secondary weapon is an axe, so they're going to be much tougher in melee combat. And I think that's it then, for Egypt, at least for right now. Yeah. I don't know if there's any other units I need to add to them. This is Seleucids, same thing, based on Antiochus' army in Battle of Raphia. There's Antiochus, or Antiochus, however you pronounce his name, with the companion cavalry. Same stats as in vanilla. Silver shields, reskinned, have the same stats as in vanilla. And Phalanx pikemen, also reskinned, but same stats as in vanilla because people like to use them as meat shields. Back here we have Cretan archers. The Seleucids had Cretan archers also in this battle. They had a lot of them, and Neo-Cretans, whatever the fuck the difference is between Cretans and Neo-Cretans, I don't know, but they should have had Cretan archers for Seleucids. These are the Hellenic cataphracts. Same stats as in vanilla. They just look like the Greeks. And scythe chariots, exactly the same as in vanilla. These ones can be run on, unlike the Persian scythe chariots. This is a silver shield swordsman. Same stats. They look like Greeks though. They have a Greek style helmet, and they have the shields. And this is a new unit I added to represent the many Thracians that fought for the Seleucids at Raphia. They are two-handed falksmen, well armored. They have a small shield, but their stats come from Rome Total War Barbarian Invasion, there's a unit called Chosen Axemen that's available to most of the barbarian factions. They have Warcry, and they are better armored than the Chosen Axemen for Germania and Vanilla, but they have their attack isn't as strong, or their charge isn't as strong, but they're a tough unit, and just a little more variety for the Seleucids other than just the pikes. These are Eastern archers. They had all different kinds of archers at Raphia, Antiochus did. So you've got the Cretans, and then these are going to have Eastern archer stats. They'll be a cheaper archer, and then I haven't finished the unit yet, but it's Agrianian archers or Agrianian slingers. Yeah, Agrianian slingers are also going to be part of the Seleucids. So they've served the Seleucids in the real battle, and I'm going to add them to the game. So there'll be a heavier archer, a lighter, cheaper archer, and a slinger unit for the Seleucids in the mod. And these are the middle tier elephants, Indian elephants, and then these are the cataphract heavy elephants. And these are Syrian cavalry. This is a unit from Rome Total War Alexander, a mercenary unit, and I've given them to the Seleucids because they ruled Syria and would have had native Syrians on horseback fighting for them. They're not as strong as companions, they're more like a second tier heavy cavalry unit. And then this is Arab camel archers. In the vanilla game they are available to Egypt, but I've not read that Egypt had them fighting their armies, but I have read that the Seleucids had Arabs on camels fighting in this battle called the Dromedarii. So camel archers for the Seleucid faction, or for the Antiochus faction, I should say. So I think that's it. I think that's it. Yeah. That's it. It's all 8. So that's where I'm at so far. I have the barbarians still to go, and I've got room for a couple more factions I'm going to add. I'm thinking maybe the Franks from BI. I've already added India. India from Rome Total War Alexander is in as King Porus, so I'm thinking maybe I'll add the Goths from BI. Like somebody said, the Romano British would be a good faction to add, but I have I think 3 more slots for new factions. So factions that have never met in vanilla Rome Total War are going to meet in about another month or so. I'm thinking this will be done. I'll be able to release it. I want to make it mod foldered, so you'll be able to switch easily between the vanilla game and playing this mod. You'll be able to create a desktop icon, so if everybody wants to play vanilla, you can play vanilla, but if everyone wants to play this mod, they'll be able to get to it quickly. It's not going to overwrite your vanilla game permanently. So anyway, 1 more month, hopefully.